So if one takes on the mindset of trying to accept truth and be objective and be honest with themselves, right? It's very easy to begin to discredit discredit religion, especially in our scientific world, right? Because clearly the science and the religion tells us very different stories of reality and tells us to believe very different things. So a common sort of response of anti-theism is, if we start to believe this sort of stuff, it'll mess up our whole objective, truthful thing we're trying to do. We won't be able to practically actually know what problems we're trying to solve, let alone whether or not the solutions we have to those problems are actually working, right? Which is a strong point, right? And part of religion can be dogmatism and incorporating beliefs that are inaccurate and perhaps not useful, right? However, this is an insight of Jordan Peterson in particular. It can depend on what you call believe, right? Isn't there only one type of belief? Well, not exactly. Say you have Carl, right? And Carl logically believes in courage. He's like, courage makes a lot of sense. I see that fears can actually prevent me from ever getting, say he wants a wife, from ever getting the wife I want if I don't ask any girls out. So it makes sense for me to be courageous, and even though I'm afraid of asking a girl out, to still keep on doing it, right? And yet, for 5 years, he never asks a girl out, right? So does he really believe in courage? He certainly isn't acting as though he actually believes in courage, right? There's this kind of model that assumes that people just believe something or they don't, right? That's kind of the wrong way to think about it, right? Reality is so fast for people, right? That you know one thing, right? And then the next day you forget all that talk about courage. And then Sam is suddenly cowering in a corner, waiting for the strength to ask this girl out rather than fighting through the fear, right? And this is what this is, an amateur description of what psychologists would call cognitive dissonance, and the complete anything, but just having two different kind of belief paradigms that don't logically connect, and yet the person is still using them in different areas of their life, right? And so this same sort of thing can happen with religion and science, right? So when you see a movie, it's not like you're constantly thinking about how the movie is artificed and how there are cameras behind the stage, right? At least if it's a good movie, right? It pulls you in, and you get into the characters, and you almost lose yourself in the characters, almost as though you are the characters, or at the very least, someone in that scenario witnessing the characters, right? And so we can do the same sort of thing with science and religion, right? So, and this, I think, can vary from person to person, right? But we can, say, go to church, or study whatever religion we're studying and fully believe and accept what's being said. And then at other times, we can be completely objective and reject the non-scientific narrative within the religion, right? And we can do both, and we can benefit from both, and we can let the religious narrative guide us in our actions and help us remember exactly what we're supposed to do in the world. And then we, in times where intellectual examination is required, we can shift from the story to the logic and correct all of our difficulties.